So I will try to keep their bios very short, but in fact, they have done many more things than just what I'm going to say about them. Carmen Aguilera is a section of operational market development at the European Global Navigation Satellite Systems Agency. She's an expert in navigation system. Her role is to bring space to users in the areas of aviation, maritime and rail transport by fostering new applications, research and development and business of foreign industry. And she's a certified drone pilot and enthusiast of new technologies. So, Carmen, can you tell us more? You are working at the moment on 2 of the European flagship programs, Galileo and Egnos. Can you explain us in a couple of sentences what are these programs and what is their purpose?
Good afternoon, Diana, and everyone. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to this event. It is a privilege to be part of the launch of this new initiative. And yes, I will go directly to your question. So indeed, I'm working on Egnos and Galileo. The 2 systems are the European venture into satellite navigation. Galileo is the global satellite navigation system that is providing position and timing around the world. And Egnos is a little bit more specific. Egnos is the European Geostationary Navigation Overlay Service. Behind this very complicated name, there is a system that is providing corrections to improve the accuracy and the integrity of the global systems. And why this is important is because when we use satellite navigation for safety critical applications, so for example, to land an aircraft, we need something on top of the usual satellite navigation. And this is what this second system, Egnos, is providing. The 2 systems are operational, so we are not talking about the future at all. Galileo is operational since 2016. In the case of Egnos, it is operational since 2009 for non-safety critical applications and 2011 for safety critical applications.
Thank you a lot for this brief explanation, because it's not always easy to explain these very complex programs to everyone. Can you tell us what is the role of the GSA in the program? What do you do there?
So GSA is indeed the European agency for satellite navigation. Actually, we are changing name and role. I will explain you a bit later. And the GSA is the European agency that is in charge of providing the services of the satellites, so making sure that the signal that is coming from the satellite is usable on the ground. Is also in charge of security of the program, and last but not least, in charge of market development. What does it mean? This is actually the area where I'm working on. We are in charge of making sure that this information coming from the satellite reaches the European citizens, and so that the European companies develop application and business based on these signals. The headquarters of the agency is in Prague, in the Czech Republic, but we also have sites around Europe. In particular, as we were presenting at the beginning, we have the Galileo Service Center in Madrid, also Galileo Security Monitoring Center with 2 sites. One is in Madrid, another in France, and the Galileo Reference Center that is in the Netherlands. And as I was saying, the GSA is changing the role. So we have been focusing on satellite navigation until now, but in the next months we are becoming EU's PA, so we are changing name. And the reason for that is that we will be also contributing to other space programs, in particular Copernicus, that is the European program for Earth observation, and GovSatcom, that is the new European initiative to provide secure communication to governmental users. And what I do there, well, my little contribution to this program is to make the signal of the satellites usable in transport. So that means making sure that the airports and the airlines benefit from satellite navigation, also the railways companies, the vessels, the ports, because transport is a big component of the European economy. It is employing around 5% of the population, so it's a big contributor to the European economy, and we want to make sure that the satellite signals is used also in these sectors.
So thank you. That's very interesting. I hope we will have the opportunity to speak another time, and that you tell us more about these new challenges you are facing, changes. In fact, at the moment, what are the main challenges you are facing in your work and at GSA?
Well, in fact, making this dream a reality, we really wanted that all the economic sectors make use of Galileo, and not only of the functionalities that where Galileo is, let's say, similar to GPS, to the American satellite navigation system. We want that what Galileo brings as a new component to this world is used. So Galileo is adding new functionalities that GPS and other services are not providing today, and we want them to make them used. Also, we want that Galileo is used not only by established companies or big companies, but also by entrepreneurs. We want to launch new businesses and contribute that the young people and also the small companies make business based on the space data, which is an area where all of us are paying for and are contributing to make it a reality. So this is my everyday life, making sure that the European companies benefit from these services.
And Carmen, if a small company or an entrepreneur is interested in getting in touch with you, so how should they proceed?
So we have different entry points. First entry point should be GSA website. All the opportunities are listed there. Any company can find there the opportunities for funding, because we are providing funding for research and development, for launching new businesses, and everything is published. And we should not forget that in Spain we have the Galileo Service Center, and the Galileo Service Center is the single point of contact of the Galileo program with the users. So if anyone has a question on how to use Galileo, what the services Galileo is providing, how they can access to the Galileo signals, they should go to this Galileo Service Center. They can go physically there, but now we have many restrictions due to COVID. So we have a help desk and a full team accessible by the website of the GSC, where there is where anyone can ask, and we have a team of dedicated and expert people that can answer and actually can even help these companies to make use of Galileo. So we are not going to provide the theory, but we are really helping to code and to make the thing work.
So I have many more questions for you. I don't know which one to still choose, because we don't have so much time. For example, can you share maybe with us some of the new applications or applications not so known by the general public, where you are bringing space to users? Okay, let's start actually probably with the known ones, because I'm sure that everybody knows that GNSS, GPS is used in smartphones, but probably what is not known is that today we have 2 billion users using Galileo in smartphones and other devices. So it is very likely that many of us that are connected today have Galileo in our pockets, and we don't even know. So this is quite an obvious application, but also Galileo is used in innovative technologies, like in drones. So many of the drones and that are flying already today and that we can buy from the commercial manufacturers already have Galileo inside. And the reason for that is that by using Galileo, the drone can fly in a much more robust way, and can fly a more accurate route. And this has been also quite evident during the COVID pandemic. There were many operations run by drones to support the disinfection or monitoring of certain areas, and many of them were using Galileo.
and many of us didn't know, or it may not be evident that they were using Galileo. Also, emergency helicopters are using Egnos to also reflect the other service, also to make a reference or some link with the situation we are living. In this situation where medical operations are unfortunately more and more common, having helicopters that are able to transport or to move a patient from one hospital to another in safe conditions is very important. And many of these helicopters are using satellite navigation to be able to do that in bad weather conditions, when it is raining, when there is fog, when the pilot cannot see what is happening. And in this case, it is guided by satellite navigation and can deliver the patient in safe conditions.
So thank you, Carmen. I have many other more technical or even questions related to the space field, but we're running out of time. So I don't want to lose the opportunity to ask you a personal question. Mm-hmm. So based on your personal experience, what can we do to foster the interest of young women in STEM-related topics? Because that's one of the topics, especially this local group wants to work on, and taking into account your leadership position, I think it's useful to know what you think about.
Actually, I think you were already mentioning very good initiatives in the presentation of the group. The first thing would be provide information about not only about space and the known technologies. Everybody thinks that space is all about spacecraft, astronauts, satellites, but the space is much more. The space is also about bringing the space data to the users, as I was saying, to the aircraft, to the smartphone, to the tractors on the in agriculture fields. And sometimes this is not evident. And it is very important that a group like women in aerospace are providing this information to the new generation so that they know that there are business opportunities and professional opportunities targeting this area. And also networking is very important. Sometimes it is not evident who is working on what, how to reach the information, and having a group that is providing networking opportunities and experts on the different fields is essential to promote the growth of women in this sector, and also to reach new opportunities. I can give you my personal example. My boss is a woman. She's really brilliant. And talking to these women that are inspirational and bring new challenges, new ideas, also help to develop ourselves. So I think this is an area where the group can play a major role.
Thank you a lot, Carmen, for this conversation. To have other opportunities to speak together. And now I will move to our next speaker. So José Antonio Sobrino is professor of the University of Valencia. He's director of the Global Change Unit from the Image Processing Laboratory and president of the Spanish Association of Remote Sensing. He's an internationally recognized researcher in remote sensing. He received the King Jaime I Award of environmental protection in 2019, and he uses data gathered from space in order to help farmers. So, Antonio, tell us the change unit of the Image Processing Laboratory. What do you do there?
Well, we are a research group founded in 25 years ago at the University of Valencia. At present, we are in the Image Processing Laboratory, and our main objective is to detect and monitor the changes occurring of our planet based on data provided by Earth observation satellites. We develop and validate operational algorithms to estimate different biophysical parameters, such as, for example, temperature and emissivity on the land and sea surface, thermal inertia, evapotranspiration, heat island, and other applications. And we address the different aspects of the research work, from theory to in situ measurements. For example, we have permanent instrumentation in several in situ stations where we validate the algorithms, And we also participate in intensive field campaign in which the sensors are placed on board aircraft, drones, etc. And finally, of course, we work in the processing of remote sensitive images from different satellites, Sentinel-2, 3, Meteosat second generation, Terra and Aqua, Landsat, etc.
So you're covering many topics. And from what you're saying, you are, I assume that you work with data provided by one of the European Commission flagship programs, Copernicus. Can you maybe explain briefly what is Copernicus and what are the main applications associated to it? How does Copernicus help European citizens?
Of course, we work with Copernicus Sentinel family of satellites. Copernicus is the European Union Earth Observation Program looking at our planet and its environment to benefit all European citizens. It offers information services from satellite air observation and also from in situ data. Copernicus, we can say, is the world's largest single program for observing and monitoring the Earth. The European Commission manages the program, and it is implemented in partnership with the member state and this European Space Agency, the European Organization for Exploitation of Meteorological Satellites, known as EUMETSAT, also the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecast, and Mercator Ocean. In actuality, there are 6 Copernicus services: the atmosphere, marine, land, climate change, security, and emergency management, that transform the data into value-added information to help service providers, public authorities, and other international organizations to improve European citizens' quality of life and beyond. We address challenges such as urbanization, food security, rising sea levels, diminishing polar ice, natural disaster, of course, climate change. And the more important thing is that the information services is provided are free and openly accessible to users.
And maybe can you tell for some of the people who might be interested in getting this access to this data? So where can they access?
It's very easy. Only need to look the website, that is copernicus.eu, and then directly you have all the information in order to register and to upload the data. This is not difficult. Only to connect the website is enough.
Okay, that's great that we can share this information with everyone. So from what we discussed in the preparation of this conversation, we know that you are not only using space technology in your work, you are also using other technologies. What is space technology bringing you compared to other technologies?
Well, space technology is crucial to our work, and thanks to the continuous technological advances, we have more and better data to feed our algorithms. Improvements in radiometric, spectral, spatial, and temporal resolution allow us to access information about the Earth surfaces that was previously unthinkable. But not only that, the access to data today is becoming faster and more efficient. In the last 30 years, we have moved from the difficulty of obtaining satellite images to apply and validate our algorithms to a totally different situation, where we need researchers to process and develop new algorithms that benefit from the amount of data available to us. That is a lot today. In addition to this satellite operative, looking to the future, new missions are being prepared and will become operational in the coming years. For example, the 6 high priority candidate missions are being studied to address the European policy and gaps in Copernicus user needs, and to expand the current capabilities of the Copernicus space component. There are also other programs, for example, the ESA Earth Explorer programs, which new mission will be launched in the future. Then we will have a lot of data and a lot of satellite, and with the good thing that is free, no, to have access to this data.
And what other technologies do you use in this remote sensing beside the space technology?
Well, mainly we use instrumentation in order to, in our case, no, in order to validate our algorithms and also to calibrate the satellite data. No, this is mainly. Of course, we have our main work because we are a group from a university, and then we do a theoretical work. For example, solving the radiative transfer equation and all these aspects of the theory.
It means that we really need both. We need to have this technology from space, looking from very far away, and then we need to check the data also closer.
Yes, we
check
need
the
three aspects, Rocío, that I said before. We need to develop algorithms that take the new data of the new satellites, of course, to process the image and to have the access to the satellite data.
And you were mentioning university because you are linked to university. We hear sometimes a difficulty for Spanish researchers to find economical stability within the country, within Spain. Is financing one of your challenges?
Yes, of course, it is one of the main problems. We have brilliant researchers who do not have adequate working conditions. Many people have left. Those who stay have mostly contracts linked to projects that once they end, so do their contracts. It is a situation of frustration. We must provide a clear framework that allows job stability for scientists. We are at 1.25% of GDP in research plus development plus innovation, and the European average is currently 2.1% and is set at 3% by 2030. This is a difference very important, I think.
So compared to what other countries are doing, what would be, if there is one single thing that we could do in Spain to improve the situation, what would it be?
I think that we need to give not contracts as today that is only related with the project that the different groups in the university can obtain in the different calls, but to give a possibility to stabilize the work of scientists. That is contracts in the university, for example, for professors, etc. This is very difficult today to have a post in the university. Yeah.
So let's see what happens in the next years.
Yeah.
To come a little of from what you are doing to our daily life, we have observed many changes in the parameters monitored during the lockdown due to COVID, and now that there are as well travel restrictions, probably we are as well seeing changes. Can you maybe tell us briefly which changes and what can we learn from this for
yes.
to apply it when COVID will end?
Yes, from the remote sensing point of view, mainly in terms of the air quality in cities, this is not surprising due to the reduction in traffic and in the combustion of fossil fuel in industrial processes. For example, the Tropomi, the instrument on board the Sentinel-5P satellite, showed a significant reduction of nitrogen dioxide concentration in Beijing by around 35% between February 2019 and 2020. But air pollution returning to similar level in February this year. No? The data also show reduction around 40–50% in the first stage of the lockdown in the southern Europe, specifically in Spain, in Italy, in France, while in August, July 2020, the concentration are still 10–20% lower than the pre-COVID levels. But we think that in the coming weeks and months, we expect increases of nitrogen dioxide concentration also over Europe. The important thing is the good agreement between the satellite 5P estimation and the ground-based measurements. This demonstrates that air quality monitoring from space can contribute to regular air quality reporting in European countries, which has been only done so far using ground-based instrument measurements. Well,
Okay.
the important conclusion is also that the reduction is clear when the reduction in traffic and in the combustion is lower. No? This is a good experiment from this point of view.
Mm-hmm. So we are running out of time. It's very interesting. I just want to ask you the last question, a little more personal one related to your career. So what do you think of such initiatives as Women in Aerospace Europe, and do you consider networking important in your work?
This is an excellent initiative because we are in need of professional associations of reference in Europe in the space sector, association that promote the space program and support the younger generation. We have nowadays many challenges in which the space sector can and should play an important role. For example, the global warming, for example, the sustainable development goals. Then from our point of view, the networking is a must in our work. We need the collaboration between research, the users, the policymakers.
Thank you a lot. Now we will unfortunately move, or fortunately again, to our next speaker, but we will have the opportunity, I hope, to have other exchanges with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We will move now to our next speaker, Irene Rivera Andres. She's head of Pegasus Helicopters Patrol at Spanish Directorate-General for Traffic, DGT, and she's a pilot herself. She was a deputy and spokesman for, spokeswoman for innovation at Spanish Parliament, deputy and spokeswoman for economy and knowledge at the Parliament of Andalusia. She's founding member of IVA, so Ellas Vuelan Alto, and a member of Aviadoras. She's actively contributing to the creation of EVA Andalusia, and now active as well in VIA Europe. And she is a space enthusiast. So what do you do at the Pegasus Helicopter Patrol of Malaga?
Hello, Diana. First of all, thank you to WIA for the invitation to participate with you all. And congratulations, because I see that the room is completely full of people. So congratulations, first of all. The main goal of a Pegasus helicopter is the road safety, is what we work for. And with the helicopter, we have a privilege and panoramic overview of everything that is happening down there. So what we do with is actually a powerful means to prevent accidents, traffic jams, and potential or dangerous behavior from drivers in our roads. That's our business, we can say, what we do in this with this helicopter Pegasus in the DGT in Spain.
I was in mute. Thank you, Irene. And in this, so in your work, are you using any space technology and that kind of thing?
Yes, I don't know if I heard the question. I think it was. Can you repeat, please, Diana?
Yes. I wanted to know, so if you are using any space technology in your work.
Yeah, actually, sometimes we are not aware that we are using space technology, but actually in the Pegasus helicopter, we have a very interesting application that is the radar Pegasus. And it's the radar Pegasus is a sophisticated and unique system, I can say, that is quite unique, and that calculates the speed of a car from the helicopter in a very accurate way using geospeed measurement. So we're using GPS to calculate the speed of a car that is moving on the road. Okay, so basically what this system does is to calculate to use the coordinates, the GPS coordinates of the car and the GPS coordinates of the helicopter, and do some calculations to calculate the speed of the car. What we do is we use to correct the terrain elevation that, as you all know, the GPS doesn't control the elevation. What we use is a laser that is able to calculate the slant range of the target. And the Pegasus do is a software that with all this data calculates to calculate the speed of the car. And it's a powerful radar. And I mean, in Spain, I think everybody knows the Pegasus helicopter, the blue and yellow, and it's all the time around in the cities all over Spain. Actually, I'm the ship patrol in Malaga, and I used to fly around Almeria, Granada, Jaén, or the south of Spain. But we have bases all over Spain, so we are quite known in in Spain. I think most of people here knows Pegasus, and this is a very curious thing for me. That I'm very nice to know that we are using a space technology, and that sometimes we are not aware that this is coming from space. No, I was very happy the other day talking with Carmen.
Sorry, yeah? I wanted to underline, because in the preparation of this discussion, you underlined that it was in fact technology pretty different and pretty advanced compared even to other countries. The technology you were using in Pegasus for this purpose.
Yeah, it's true, because it's a military technology, and actually the system is a Canadian system. And yeah, it's true, because in other countries, I know actually in the States, for example, they measure the distance or the speed of the cars, just marking the road and calculating the time that passes from one mark to another. And this is a very sophisticated system, and it's not very known. I think sometimes for me, I feel really proud to present the Pegasus system, because I think there are not many countries that use this kind of technology to do a radar like this one, no? With everything moving, the helicopter moving, the car moving, and it's thanks for the satellites and the GPS geoposition. So yeah, exactly.
So we should be proud.
I'm really proud of it.
We should be proud. Yeah, and I wanted also to take advantage of your extensive political experience. In fact, being a deputy at the Spanish Parliament until December last year. Can you tell us what place does space and space programs have in politics, in European politics, and how is space fostering industrial and strategic development in Spain?
Well, as a speaker woman for innovation in the Spanish Parliament, I had the honor to represent the Spanish aerospace sector at national and sometimes in an international level in Brussels at the sample. And I have to say that I've met amazing people at that time. And I can give you an example. At the sample, Jordi Puig-Suari, that is the inventor of the CubeSat. is a good example of these amazing people we have in Spain. This Spanish man that actually is working and living in the States is the precursor of the new space worldwide. And not many people knows that Jordi is Spanish. And we think, and also with Andres Martinez, that he's from NASA, I realized that we have our sector in Spain is really powerful at the moment, and not only the big companies in space, also the small ones. We have a lot of startups in this new space, as we call us. Globally, we call this new opportunities. We call that new space. That is like startups that make applications, maybe not for big companies or big projects, but for example, doing these CubeSats, that they are really like small boxes, not bigger than 1 meter for 1 meter. And this Jordi introduced these CubeSats in NASA, in the States, where nobody believe in this new space. No, this is small companies doing.
Yeah, you're right.
No. So what I've seen then was that we have in Spain a lot of companies, small startups, that they are great, and we have a very great market. And I think, sorry, Diana, that is very important that from the politics and from the institutions, we have to do our job and help them to be key companies for the Spanish economy. That they are ready to do that. Already they are ready to do it.
So thank you, Irene. I hope we also will have the opportunity to have a dedicated session on this topic. So the time is running, so we don't have more time to speak, because we would like to let some time also for the networking activities. So the last question I wanted to ask you, again, a personal one. You're having a very successful career, and you have a leadership role in the field with a very low presence of women. Did you have any role model or sponsors or supporters who have contributed to this success? And what skills, knowledge, or attitude you think have been key for this success?
Well, I have many women I admire. Starting from my colleagues in IVA, are all in WIA, all the fantastic women I'm meeting now. And but if I think about some women that inspire me the most, I can give you an example. That they are 13 women from the Mercury 13. That I don't know if you heard about them. But these Mercury 13 women, they were doing in the 60s the same medical test that the Mercury 7, the astronauts, the famous astronaut that finally got to the moon in the 60s. These 13 women, they passed all the medical tests, even sometimes with a better result than the men. But they at that time, they didn't allow them to be part of this experience to get to the moon. And the glory was kept at the time for the men. And for me, these 13 women represent the inspiration, the fighting that I think this kind of people, that they are doing the effort before us to allow us to be where we are now. And so for me, this example, if you want to know more, because we don't have more time now, there is a very nice documentary in Netflix that is called Mercury 13, and I invite you all to see it, because it's a really nice documentary that explains very well this feeling of a women that wants to, that probably women could be the first human being to be in the moon. And they couldn't. They were led apart in history. So I invite you all to see it, because it's really a really amazing documentary.
Thank you a lot, Irene. So as we said, again, thank you to our three guest speakers. It has been very interesting, very short. We had still many questions and many things to discuss, but we're running out of time. We would like to let the opportunity as well to have this networking now. So unless